What is good, y'all? It is the boy, The Wavy RN, and today I got a special video for you. Today, I'm gonna give you an insight onto my first year of nursing. Now, go ahead and feel free to share the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so my experience as a first year nurse, I'm gonna be honest, it was tough. It was so hard because it's such a difference, and it's very difficult to explain how different it is from nursing school. Because I went into the nursing profession thinking, oh, it's going to be very similar to nursing school and what I learned through nursing school. It does help, but it is a lot different. For example, care plans and writing them, coming out with expectations, outcomes, whether the goals were or were not met. Yeah, that's present in the hospital and in charting, but the difference is you're not writing it. You're choosing from pre-selected outcomes and whether the objectives were met or not. And you really have to see, you really have to be there, and you have to visualize, and you have to encourage these patients to meet their goals. It's not like you can just slap it on and think that everything's going to be okay, because it's not. If you're not showing results or there's no proof, then what are you doing? Not enough, apparently. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you're charting that you're doing, because if you get found out that you are not doing what you're doing, you could get into trouble. And another thing is, if you're good at doing more than two things at once, then this job might not be too bad for you because you have to juggle a lot of responsibilities and there's a lot of actions that you need to do that are just a little different from what you previously experienced. So, for example, one time I had somebody who needed a urinalysis and a stool sample, or they needed a pee sample and a poop sample. And there was another patient I had that needed a blood transfusion. So you have to send the urine and stool sample, and then you have to start the blood transfusion. But with blood transfusion, the policy is for the first 15 minutes, you have to stay with the patient, at least at the hospital where I worked. You have to stay with the patient for the first 15 minutes just to make sure that nothing's going wrong during the transfusion. Another thing about first year as a nurse, it's going to change the way you think, change the way you move. It's even going to change the way you walk, because you walk so much faster trying to make sure everything's getting done in a timely manner. And if it doesn't happen in a timely manner, it is on you, and you will take full responsibility for it. So make sure that you keep everything in mind, and you want to make sure that you stay up to date with everything. So if the patient, if they may have had like a CAT scan or an imaging of the brain, you need to make sure you write that down with the result and what was done about the result. Another thing is, patients are not the same. Not every two patients are the same. People might have a pain from 1 to 10, they might have a 7 and be screaming or grimacing, and another person might say, oh, I have a 10 out of 10 pain, and they're drinking a soda, watching some TV. But pain is pain. You need to treat each and every person as if they're having the pain they're saying they're having. So if they have pain medication and they're telling you they have pain, make sure you treat it. Another thing, you have other people that you work with as a nurse. You have physical therapists, you have occupational therapists, you have doctors, you have CNAs, which let me tell you right now, the CNAs will be your best friend. They will be your buddy on that floor. Because if you have a patient that's incontinent, the CNAs are usually the ones that change them. And if you can, help out the CNAs each and every time you get it. But that also means if you're gonna help out the CNA, make sure everything that you're doing is up to date. You do not want to fall behind. For example, it was end of shift change, and CNA asked me for my help. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. We can go ahead and change the patient. And after the time the patient was finished, I realized that there were a couple of results I had not written, or I didn't have my report up to date. So it was already shift change. The next nurse is waiting for me to give them their assessment so that they can take my patient for the day. And I didn't have all the information. So unless you're completely up to date, if a CNA asks you for help, help when you can. If you're not caught up, the answer is no. It will make it so much simpler for you to get your work done. Another thing is my biggest problem, time management. If a patient has an abnormal lab, let's say something's not exactly the way it should be. It's not normal and it's critical. You need to make sure that you call the doctor and you let them know. And if they don't answer, you call back. You continue to call until you reach that doctor to see what they want to get done about it. Because if nothing is done, they'll be like, hey, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you call this person? Why didn't you call them again? I'm speaking from experience, people. This happened to me when I first started. I would call maybe once, leave a message, and if they didn't call back, I would say, oh, they'll get back to me when they're not busy. No, because then when that nurse manager is like, hey, this level is really, really high, or this level is really, really low. Did you call the doctor? And you say, yes, I called the doctor, and I left a message. How long ago did you call the doctor? Oh, I called the doctor about 30 minutes ago. Their response to you will be, and you didn't call them back? Go ahead and call them back. Because you want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to let the doctor know something is not right and something needs to be done about it. That is your responsibility as a nurse. You need to be on top of everything. On all the levels, on top of the vital signs, you need to make sure if, let's say, you listen to their lungs and everything sounds good, and you listen to their stomach and they sound good, right? You touch their stomach, it feels fine, but then you do your reassessment and something is off. Like, let's say if you touch them on their abdomen, they say, ow, and they didn't say that in the beginning. You need to ask what's hurting them, what it feels like, if it radiates, and you need to let the doctor know right away, because something could possibly be happening. Because if something does happen and you didn't do anything about it, you will more than likely be looking for another job. So, make sure you stay on top of everything. And to be honest, it does affect the personal life, being a nurse. It affects your personal life, because if you're working 2-3 days a week, maybe pick up that extra shift, you're tired. A lot of times you're exhausted because you're putting in these 12-hour days, taking care of these patients, and it just catches up with you. The fatigue just comes at you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you might want to prepare for that, prepare to be a little tired, and prepare to have something that will take your mind off of stress at work. Another thing about these 12-hour shifts, they're not exactly 12-hour shifts, okay? Hear me out. Your job description is 7 to 7 or 7 to 7:30. Be prepared to leave at 8:30, 8:45 at night, because something comes up or your charting's not finished. Because as much on top of your things as you may be, some people just may have a lot of things to chart. Some people just may have a lot of things you need to do. There might be a doctor you need to call, or there may be an order that you just got before shift change and you need to put it in after you give the report. So 12-hour days, expect 13, 14-hour days at times. It's going to happen. This is the best of us, I'm telling you. Another thing is you need to find something that will take your mind off. Because nursing is a stressful job. I love it, but I would be lying to you if I told you it wasn't stressful. So you need to find something that will take you off of it. So maybe go ahead and join your local gym. Maybe go kayaking on the weekend. Find something that entertains you, so that way you can continue enjoying doing what you do. Because as stressful as the job is, it is an amazing job. I love it. I have no regrets about joining the nursing profession. It is great. It does come with its drawbacks like any other job, But if you love what you do, it'll never truly be work. It'll just be your career. That is it for the video today, guys. If you did like the content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Share it on your IG, on your Facebook, on your Twitter. Share it with all the platforms you got. And I will go ahead and see y'all next time.